You know, this thing of territorial threats, we know them here. We've got an army base here in Botswana. What is America doing here in Botswana? Why is Africa not in American borders? What do you call that? And you come and say imperialism and colonialism is finished. When people expand their territorial expansion through putting military bases at our borders. There's a military base here.
Hello everybody, welcome once again to our channel. This is Afripost and I am Victor. The question about African independence is something that is still questionable, and people are still asking this question everywhere. Africans themselves have asked, are we really free? Have we got out of the chains of the colonizers? Because the activities of the white man are still evident across the continent. Different leaders have talked of these issues differently. We know that in recent years, there has been those leaders who have always talked against the recolonization of Africa by the white man. They have talked against the policies of the white man that they have been propagating in this continent. For instance, we've seen a wave of coups in the Sahel region. These have been propagated by military leaders who think that the current or the sitting presidents in their countries are serving the interests of the West and not the interest of the people within those countries. And therefore, the question about the impact of African leadership in the African continent has been a major topic talked about globally. Now, there are certain African leaders who have stood and said that they will not sit and tolerate Western countries control and micromanage Africa. One of these leaders is a notable opposition politician in South Africa, Julius Malema. Julius Malema has been championing for the Ubuntu spirit, where Africans support themselves, understanding that Africans are one and Africa was created and developed as one continent to hold people together. Take a listen to how Malema talks against Western imperialists and especially the United States and its work in the African continent. Take a listen.
You know, this thing of territorial threats, we know them here. We've got an army base here in Botswana. What is America doing here in Botswana? Why is Africa not in American borders? What do you call that? And you come and say imperialism and colonialism is finished. When people expand their territorial expansion through putting military bases at our borders. There's a military base here. A study has been conducted that a fighter jet that moves from that army base to the Union building will not take less than 2 minutes to bomb the Union building. If a war is declared with America, America does not have to assemble any resource from Washington or anywhere else to come here. They are already here. What do you call that? It's democracy. It's free world. We must celebrate that and say, no, imperialism is no longer there. It's in our head. We understand what Putin is fighting against because we have it here. Here. What is it doing here? We never went to Asia. We never went to Europe. We never went to America. We are here. We don't establish bases anywhere. Why should you establish bases in military bases in our continent? And when we speak, it's called old-fashioned politics. That they are out of fashion. There's no such a thing as imperialism. When imperialism is breathing on our neck, yeah, we're not going to allow that. We are going to expose that American military base here all the time in the platforms we get and educate our people that this is exactly what Putin is fighting against. America will not allow that. That Russia must go and establish a military base in Cuba with missiles facing the USA. They won't allow that. So we must not be allowed, we must not be asked to accept the things that you will not accept if they were to happen in your countries. And that's what we're talking about when we speak about NATO and peace not going together. So, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't mean enmity. We're not enemies. We engage robustly. Our policies can be challenged the same way we challenge your policies. We are open for engagement. South Africa is open for investment in our own terms. We know what multinational companies have done to our economy, coming to milk our resources, leaving us dry. The case in point is a place called Marikana. Just go and see what the London mine did there and what Sibanye is doing there. To date, with a huge operation of a mine just next to it, there is no water, there's no tar road, there's no electricity, there are no houses, no proper schools. People are squashed in one place. Yet, a stone thrown away, there is a mine. We cannot allow that to continue as is under the EFF. We want a mine that will benefit our people. Why do people say, no, the state must not own a bank in South Africa? Because there are private banks. Why do you need a state bank? Because they want to continue to exploit people and charge them high interest. Why do you say you don't want the state to be in the bank, but the state is in hospitals? There is private hospitals, there is state hospitals. There is private schools, there is state schools. There must be private banks and state banks. And the private bank, the private hospitals and schools and private everything, even where the state participate, the private sector still maximize profit, even when there is an option of a state. We will not close them down under the EFF. We will do what Kenya did. We will not close private schools. We will build quality public education where people will abandon private schools and go to public schools like in Kenya, where Kenyans leave private schools because public education is better. That's what we need to do. Private schools are closing in Kenya. So we will not close any mine. Why should we close a mine? We are the ones who issue the licenses of mines. We will give a license of a profitable mine to the state-owned mining company, where mining will not cost the state a lot of money, where the mineral resource is close. You don't need many resources and money to produce the product. That license shall go to the state, because we are the ones who allocate the license. Why should you close the mine? That's what nationalization means. Means a state-owned mining company will be established and shall mine next to the American mining companies. We won't close them down.
If you listen, Kindi, Malema is expressing support for Russia and Putin for that matter. He is saying that the United States has taken advantage of Africa, established its bases, military bases in the African continent, and continue to suppress other countries like Russia from having access to Africa and the African people. And for this, Malema is claiming that Africa must be left to be free and Western leaders must desist from controlling what is happening and micromanaging the African people. He says, Viva, and Africa must continue fighting. I hope you got enlightened. If you're watching us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also hit that notification bell so that every time we produce this kind of content, you get notified immediately. Thank you, and may God bless you. Bye-bye.